The bikini, a two-piece swimsuit, has a surprisingly recent history. It was introduced in 1946 by French designer Louis Réard. The design was considered shocking at the time. It exposed the wearer's midriff and navel, a level of skin exposure rarely seen before. The bikini's popularity grew slowly. It gained acceptance in Europe first, then later in the United States. Over the decades, the bikini has evolved into countless styles and variations. From string bikinis to high-waisted designs, there's a bikini for every taste. The bikini has become a symbol of summer, leisure, and female empowerment. It represents freedom of expression and body confidence for many women. The emergence of children's bikinis reflects this broader cultural acceptance. As the bikini became normalized for adults, it was only a matter of time before it trickled down to children's fashion. Today, children's bikinis are widely available, sparking debate about their suitability for young girls. This essay will explore both sides of this complex issue. For many parents, the decision to dress their children in bikinis is purely practical. Bikinis offer several advantages over one-piece swimsuits, particularly for young children. They are easier to take on and off, especially for children who are still potty training. The two-piece design allows for more freedom of movement, making it easier for children to swim and play. Bikinis also dry faster than one-piece suits. This is especially helpful after swimming lessons or a day at the beach. Parents appreciate the convenience of a quick-drying swimsuit, reducing the chances of their child getting chilled. Additionally, bikinis can be more comfortable in hot weather. They allow for more airflow, keeping children cooler and more comfortable. These practical considerations are often the primary motivators for parents. They prioritize their child's comfort and ease of use. However, it's important to acknowledge the broader social context surrounding children's bikinis and the valid concerns some people raise. One of the most common criticisms of children's bikinis is that they are not age-appropriate. Critics argue that bikinis sexualize young girls and expose them to adult concepts before they are ready. They worry that dressing children in revealing clothing contributes to a culture that objectifies women and girls. The line between childhood innocence and adult sexuality is a sensitive one. Many people believe that children should be protected from anything that could be construed as sexual. They argue that bikinis blur this line and expose children to unnecessary scrutiny and potential harm. However, others argue that children's bodies are not inherently sexual. They believe that it is the adult gaze that sexualizes them. From this perspective, there is nothing wrong with children wearing bikinis as long as they are comfortable and confident. Section 4. Body image, shaping young minds. Another concern is the impact of bikinis on children's body image and self-esteem. Critics argue that bikinis put pressure on young girls to conform to unrealistic beauty standards. They worry that seeing themselves in revealing clothing could lead to body dissatisfaction, eating disorders, and low self-esteem. Children are highly impressionable and often internalize messages about their bodies from a young age. Exposing them to images of idealized bodies in the media and in their own clothing choices can have a lasting impact on their self-perception. On the other hand, proponents of children's bikinis argue that teaching children to be comfortable in their own skin is essential for developing a healthy body image. They believe that allowing children to choose their own clothing, including bikinis, empowers them to express themselves and embrace their bodies. Section 5. Cultural perspectives on modesty. The debate surrounding children's bikinis also intersects with cultural and religious beliefs about modesty. What is considered appropriate attire for children varies widely across cultures. In some cultures, covering the body is highly valued, and even young girls are expected to dress modestly. In other cultures, there is more flexibility in terms of clothing choices. It's important to be mindful of these cultural differences when considering the appropriateness of children's bikinis. What might be considered acceptable in one culture could be viewed as offensive or inappropriate in another. Parents need to be sensitive to these cultural nuances and make choices that align with their own values and beliefs. Ultimately, it is up to parents to decide what they feel is appropriate for their children to wear. Section 6. Commercialization and the business of childhood. The rise of children's bikinis cannot be separated from the broader issue of the commercialization of childhood. The fashion industry increasingly targets children as consumers. Marketers understand the power of peer pressure and use it to sell products, including swimwear. Children are bombarded with images of models and celebrities wearing the latest fashions. This constant exposure to idealized images can create a sense of inadequacy and pressure to conform. The marketing of bikinis to children raises concerns about the exploitation of childhood innocence for profit. Parents need to be critical consumers and make conscious choices about the messages they are sending to their children through their clothing. It's important to teach children about media literacy and help them develop a critical eye towards advertising.